Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Minsan Football Show. It's the thick of the championship round and the classification round. Round three in general has been spectacular. We're glad you guys could join us for another edition of the show. We're going to get an opportunity to talk about last weekend's results and speak about the next weekend's results or the upcoming matches. And we've also got a special treat today because we've got our second guesting ever. And we're going to be revealing who those individuals are. Just a bit of a clue. They've created a bit of history this season. Uh, Players from the team that recently defeated the only undefeated team in the league. It was quite a spectacular contest. And of course, joining me today are the regulars. We've got Natasha Alquiros Deito, and we've also got Diego Cordero joining us today. How are you guys doing this evening on this rolling brown out type of situation here in the Philippines? How are you guys doing?
Doing good. Just pushing through for football. We're already towards the tail end, so just have to give it all we've got.
Diego?
Yeah, doing good. Chelsea didn't lose against Liverpool, so I'm quite happy. And my mood's a bit higher this time around. But yeah, happy and really happy that we've reached this point, this PFL season.
I think round three has been quite interesting because not a lot of people, I mean, we're in uncharted territory. Nobody really knew how things were going to transpire in this third round, the classification round. There were a lot of people who were not so sure about what to expect. In fact, people were kind of doubting the need for the classification round, but boy, have we had some bangers in the bottom half of the table, some really great games. And of course, the championship round started over the weekend, and whew, boy, did it deliver. So, we've had some spectacular football. And I think round three has really been a fantastic new development in the PFL. How do you guys feel about it?
I think that this format, as you've mentioned, uncharted territory, but I think that it's proving what it's worth, and I'm happy that the PFL took this gamble and
Mm.
changed things up a little bit because we don't have the bottom teams don't get relegated. So it's hard to play for something at the bottom. But when they put it down into two different groups, into the classification, things get interesting at the lower half of the table. While in the third round, all the games in the championship round, they've been amazing. The two games that have happened so far. And if you're a betting person, you most probably lost money this weekend.
Diego, how do you feel about the third round so far?
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I like this new format, simply because it means that if you're a player or a team, you play so many more games compared to previous seasons. So you have more exposure, you have more fitness, you're sharper, and the season is longer. It means that it is a bit more up there with the standards of the international counterparts. So we've played more games. It's been a longer season, and as Natasha said, it at this point of the season, the games are unpredictable, chaotic, and fun to watch, especially if you're neutral. That is why I'm also very excited for the upcoming games and for the rest of May in general.
I love it. I love it. Great energy today, and we've got so much to discuss. But before we go any further, we'd just like to say a special thank you to our drinks partner, Thirst. Kickoff savings this football season. Use the code PFL 2025 on the Thirst app for special discounts. Thirst is the Philippines' only beverage marketplace, so download the Thirst app today wherever you get your apps. I wonder if it's time for us to update this code as well. It's PFL 2026, guys. It's May. We're almost halfway there. But we have a very special edition of the program today because we do have our second ever guests on the show. And as I mentioned, they are from the team that recently defeated the undefeated Manila Digger. And these are two gentlemen from Agilas UMAC FC. Let's welcome to the show Brian Palpalatok and Iko Mangawang. Welcome, guys.
Hi, thanks for having us.
Hi everyone, thanks for having us.
I think the first thing on the agenda today is to just ensure that I didn't murder your name, Brian, right? So I think Palpalatok has been a tricky one. All the commentators have had their own version of how they've said your name. For the record, sir, how do we pronounce your last name?
Paul Palatok is
Palpalatok. Okay.
yes, yes.
All right. All right. Great. Iko, I got your name right? Enrico Mangawang?
Perfect, perfect.
Perfecto. Fantastic. All right. Brian, I'm sensing a bit of an accent from you. My understanding is that you did not grow up in the Philippines, but you've been living here the last couple of years. Tell us a little bit about your background.
Yeah, so born and raised to Filipino parents in the US. I'm from Southern California, San Diego specifically. Yeah, so born and raised, grew up in a pretty Filipino community. There was a good amount of Filipinos were at my school growing up, so got a little bit of the culture there, but obviously didn't get the real deal until I moved here 2024 for my first season in the PFL. Yeah, and then now on the tail end of my second season here and enjoying it all. Yeah.
Off with Maharlika, and then you've moved over to Aguilas Yumak FC. Uh, Tell us a little bit about that journey there. I mean, you started off with Maharlika back when Maharlika perhaps isn't the same Maharlika we're seeing in this particular season, and then now your transition to Aguilas. Could you just take us really quickly through that journey of yours?
Yeah, so I like I said, I came here August 2024. I had just graduated from my university back in California. So made that jump already was already tough for me. Um, and then obviously, like you said, not to mention based on the history of Maharlika as a club, it was much different than they are now. Um, I came into a club and a squad that was maybe not as organized as they are now. It was really tough. It was a really tough transition for me to play NAI soccer to professional football here in the Philippines. Um, and yeah, that first round was nothing short of just a mess for me personally. Um, had ups and downs with my head coach at the time. Um, and then obviously adjusting to living here alone as a 21-year-old, it was definitely difficult. But then the second round came, a bit of shift in management over there. Helped me enjoy the football again, and to me, that's all that mattered. All I wanted to do was enjoy and show the league what I'm capable of as a young player. So um, yeah, ever since then, was able to make the move to Aguilas after a short trial period. Um, was grateful to get the opportunity from our first manager. Yeah, and then obviously since then, I've gotten more comfortable playing football here, getting used to the style of play in this league, and you know, as a 23-year-old, I this is the life, so I'm enjoying it all.
If I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken, you have the most minutes for Aguilas this season. I think you're up there with definitely some of the more consistent performers in the league, and you've racked up the minutes, that's for sure. Brian, it's great to have you on the show, but I'd like to bring in the man of the match in your previous outing. Saved the penalty, had one fly close by his upright and crossbar there, but a generally incredible performance from the man in between the sticks. So, Iko, welcome to Minsan Football Show. And how does it feel to be on the back end of such an incredible performance and steering your team to a bit of history?
I don't know. It's like I said, it's been hard to describe what I feel, but it's definitely a good feeling. Uh, I'm just glad to have helped the team, honestly, and it was definitely you know everyone's everyone's effort that brought us to that win. So it's hard for me to also say that it was just me.
Uh, it sounds like you're being humble there, but no, it's true. It was an incredible team performance, but to be fair, you did have a big piece to play in it. You came from De La Salle University, and now you're
Right.
here at the top flight of Philippine football, playing in matches like that. Tell us about the disparity in the level of football and that you've experienced, and how you've been able to close that gap.
Well, to be honest, when I was playing UAAP, I guess in my first year, I was juggling ADT and DLSU at the same time. And then that's also when we had the U23 national team. So I would be training for both teams like every day. And in the
Mm.
mornings, I'd be with DLSU, in the afternoons, I'd be with ADT. And there's definitely a big difference already there in the level. So it was really good to have that experience because then I got a taste of what it is already playing professionally. But then uh, the 2 seasons of UAP after that followed, I chose to stay with LaSalle. So that's when I really felt the difference in the level. So to be honest, I would say my level did go down quite a bit on my last season of DLSU before I chose to fully shift and go for it, go pro. And in the start of the season, it was really hard. It was really hard because I also didn't play for about 8 months, I think, and then I went straight in for it for when we had trials. And I think that was one of the biggest challenges because not only was there a gap in the level, but also I wasn't fit at all to play. So yeah, it's been difficult, but we're here now. So
Wow,
yeah,
wow. That's a very interesting thing that you said there, because I do get the chance to call the UAP matches as well alongside Natasha, and there is,
yeah.
you feel it even as a commentator. The
Mhm.
pace of the game, the quality of the technique. It's light and day, and um, yeah, when I went over and spoke to Coach Bing, I have quite a bit of history with your head coach. So I had a chit chat with him, and I saw that. Ooh, look at that! It's equal in between the sticks today. That's kind of a big one. And I was asking him about it. I was a little bit doubtful. I was like, "Is this the match that you're gonna throw the young man in there for?" And he was pretty confident. Like he said, Iko's got. He's ready. He's got, particularly, we're looking to play in transition today. He's got great feet, and he's going to be able to ping the ball out there. And then, but it's not just the just distribution. Obviously, I mean, you put in some really good saves, and especially the penalty. Gentlemen, Diego, I mean, not gentlemen, sorry, Diego and Natasha, feel free, guys, to jump in here. Anything you guys would like to ask our guests here? I feel like I'm hogging the microphone.
Yeah, I'll just jump in as well. I guess for both of you, how does it feel playing with this tournament? I guess coming into the third round, like what's the outlook for the team? How's the team chemistry, or how have you guys bonded? Because I feel that of all the teams, Aguilas, you guys are constantly in transition. Do you feel that you guys have finally found the place that, okay, this is our team, we're ready, we have the right coach, we have the right tools? How's the feeling?
You want to go ahead, Nico?
Oh yeah, okay. Well, for this season, honestly, this second round there's definitely been a big difference, especially when Coach Bing came in. I'd say towards the latter part of the first round, um, in all honesty, wasn't the best experience. And then this second round, definitely Coach Bing coming in, there was a change. We're a lot more professional. The atmosphere was a lot different. So yeah, it was definitely much better overall. So I'd say also with that, um, but with that better environment, everyone's been performing much better. I mean, of course, there are days where it's not perfect, but our bond as a team really is there. So that definitely helps.
Yeah, I mean, coming from, a team where there's only two players from last year's team at Aguilas. Being a brand new squad, is most definitely inevitable that, the first round would have been tough chemistry wise. And so touching on what Iko said in the second round, um, yeah, you could definitely feel the shift in camaraderie and our team chemistry on and off the field. Um, and it became a lot more enjoyable for sure. Um, so obviously heading into the third round as well, um, obviously we were ranked sixth out of six, for the championship group. So for us, and me personally, a big thing for my mindset was we have nothing to lose. So obviously we're gonna put it all out there. Try to get the 3 points every single match. Make it hard for everybody else. Because you never know where we'll end up in the table if we do that. So that's the goal and that's the plan. And the mindset for the rest of the month.
I think it's my turn to chime in. So yeah, similar question, uh, for both of you guys. But I was actually looking at the league average ages. So there's an average age category for each team, and what people might not know, I'm not even sure if you guys know it, but other than Tuloy, who are obviously the youngest squad in the whole league, Aguilas is actually the second youngest in the whole league. They're very young, and then the gap between the next team in the top six is also it's by 1 year, so that's pretty long actually if it's an average age. So it's a very young team. You guys have been there since the start of the season. How have you guys seen the growth? What have you guys seen that's really allowed this team to grow, especially because again, most of you guys are really, really young.
Um, well, in our team, we do have our captains who are the oldest guys also. So Nano, Julian, um, Dodong. So Dodong is Reynald Villarreal. And we also have Richard Talarok. So those guys, I definitely say would be one of the guys who really guide the team. Um, and also, you don't really feel the age with them, but you can definitely get pick up lots of things from them. The experience alone, I'd say, was one of the most helpful things. Like for example, when it comes to very important things career wise, with what decisions to make, when it also comes to things on the field. Nano, for example, is a good person to go to when you need a little bit of advice because he's got what I think like five trophies, four trophies. So it's definitely helpful, having those kind of figures in our team.
Yeah, I actually didn't know that the average age was that low. I thought with Dodong coming in, it definitely would have spiked. So
How dare
but
you, sir?
shout out Dodong, thank you. Anyways, yeah, no. I guess unlike Iko, I definitely feel the age. I can't lie. I mean, we have some 18 and 19-year-olds that definitely act like it, and it's they bring good energy to the training environment. Obviously they're also there to learn. They're also there to train. Um, so it's a lot. I'm sure it's a lot different than the other squads where there's a lot more experienced players on those teams. So for us, it's nice to have the big brother and little brother. Um, type of dynamic all the time, really. And like Iko said, for sure, having the experienced players um, for personal growth and team growth, they've been so pivotal in that. Um, Especially for me, for sure, I'll shout out Nano for that. He's definitely helped me out so much this season with, just being a relaxed player, decisions off the field, um, on top of the ones on the field. So everybody has been great. And then growth wise, especially this third round again, they've really kind of set the tone with the dynamic that and the environment that we wanna keep as we finish the season because it's tough. It's tough having this long of a season. It's nothing that me personally I'm used to. So, they've been helping me out and the rest of the boys. So it's been great.
I think it's fresh for everybody. I mean, for the broadcast team, for the commentators, everybody's kind of like, "Whoa, we still have got what? How many more months to go?" Like, so and then now that it's May, it feels like, oh man, it's coming to a close already. Uh, it feels like it should just keep on going, but it's been fun. It's been definitely been a challenge. It's great to know that that chemistry you guys are building over there at Aguilas, and that I'm sure Nano is struggling a little bit, that he's not being able to help you guys out there on the pitch with his injury. But it's great to know that you guys are absorbing so much, particularly from the veterans of the team. I mean, Dodong Villarreal, and he's been around for a very long time, and we speak about him almost like he's a unicorn or something. Like, how is he still out there putting in these performances at 38 years of age, getting stuck in the way he does. My question for you guys is, you talked about having nothing to lose, but you guys fought on Saturday like it was personal, like it was like a real, it felt like a fight, in a way that you guys really made it into a battle. What was it motivation wise for you? Was there something said in that dressing room between the coaches or the players that made you guys, I don't know, maybe that might have been the grittiest performance that I've seen all season from a team? What was the reason for that? I'll start with you, Brian, because you put in some really good tackles that game as well.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Locker room, I mean, everyone was so focused the whole week. Coach Bing in the start of the training week was made it a point saying that he literally said, if any of you are doubting a win against Digger this weekend, then you might as well not train. So I was like, okay, he's definitely setting the tone with saying something like that. Um, and for me, I was like, why not? Why not be their first loss of the season, of course. And so come match day, you could see it in the boys' eyes. Like everyone was so focused. Obviously keeping high spirits, good locker room environment, good music. Of course, you need that. And then um, for me personally, I just remember I won't be saying names, but in the tunnel before walking out, I just remember somebody saying to me like you guys have nothing to play for, like you guys know what to do. Something like that, like and I heard that and I said, all right, yeah, like we have nothing to play for, sure. So for me it became a little personal just because I was like, who wants to hear that? You're about to compete 90 minutes. I didn't train, in 90-degree weather for me to for me to just hear something like that and just kind of be disrespected a bit. And I felt I wanted to play very well. I wanted to motivate the boys as well. So that was a good motivator for sure.
Oh, I love that. A bit of tunnel conversation, huh? Got the spark going. Iko, what about you? What was the motivation for this one?
Honestly, like I said a while ago, I didn't play for 8 months, and that 8 months was, due to personal reasons that I thought that it would be better just to lay off of the football. And in my whole life, I have never done that. It's always been football, football, football. I never caught a break. The most I guess I got was a month. So coming into this season definitely was hard, really, really hard. And I knew as someone who's gotten quite the experience also with the national team that I wasn't gonna be their number one keeper. I knew that with the way I was performing and to my standards, I knew it wasn't gonna happen. But you know what I said to myself all this year, this season, was to keep working hard because one of these days I will get an opportunity that I shouldn't, miss out on. I shouldn't, you know, like take for granted. So yeah, funnily enough, during to the tail end of this season, we started the first game of the championship round. I actually got that opportunity, and going into this game meant a lot to me. When I first the week in preparation for the game, I think around Tuesday or Wednesday, I kind of had the idea that I will be playing. And obviously, I was really excited, and I was happy to know that, you know, my hard work is gonna go somewhere. But I also kept my head down and said that if I take this opportunity for granted, it's not gonna go anywhere, and it might even make it worse for myself, right? So I made sure to keep working hard until Saturday. I stayed focused, and then come the game, honestly, I didn't know where my head was at. Like I knew I was focused, but then there's a bit of me in there that I was just like, a bit nervous. But at the same time, I was ready for it, I would say. So that was my motivation. My motivation was to prove myself that, not to anyone else, just to myself, that I can do it. And yeah, the game ended up really well for me and the team. So yeah.
This is what I love about football. There's 11 men on the team, 22 players out there on the pitch. Everybody's got their own motivation to put in a performance, and it's for a collective, goal. However, the specific fire that's burning inside of you is different, right? It could be something that's just an offhand comment inside the tunnel. It could be an 8 month journey that's, culminating in this particular match. It's everybody's got their own story, right? It's pretty amazing. But well done to both of you for an incredible game, and not just because of the result, but in terms of entertainment, in terms of adding a different layer to the league. It's just fantastic for everyone involved.
And you
Diego?
know what, Jing? Yeah.
Oh, go ahead,
And just to
Natasha.
add as well, there's just so many things that you could pick up from what Brian and Iko said, especially, how they talked about Coach Ping and how important it is, how the training grounds set the tone for how the players play in the game, how the coach sets the tone for the environment wherein the players play, and how that affects the team. And not just that, both of them also talked about Dodong Villarreal and Nano Amita. And when you talk about your captains and people, how they lead you off the field, it says a lot, not only about what they bring on the pitch, but the character of the people behind it as well. And how these small things, when you get all those small things right, it really builds up a team for success. And it's good to see, though very late in the third round, but it's good to see things are taking that shift in the right way for Aguilas. Brian, I just want to ask you as well, just leading on to that, after getting that massive win versus Manila Digger, making sure that they are not invincible in this tournament, what is the key motivator, or what's the mindset as well for the team now? How have you been building up for your next matchup?
Yeah, obviously we're going against the champs of the past couple seasons, so obviously we know it's also not going to be an easy match. Obviously we want to build upon that dream start of ours for the third round. Training wise, I mean, it was a heavy match this weekend, so some of the boys have been, nursing a couple injuries, but we're still able to stay focused, reach our goals. We're training specific objectives, and you can tell the focus and the energy is there. Working towards the weekend. Obviously, we're match day -2 right now, so yeah, the prep has definitely been solid. I'm sure Iko can agree with that. Um, and obviously we have our meetings, we have our prep, tactics wise. So, we're preparing, you know, um, with our 1v1 battles and our team structure as well. So, yeah, it should definitely be another good match, especially with the result that we were able to get against them in the second round. That was definitely a good result to keep, to put us on the right track this season. So, yeah, we're looking forward to the weekend for sure.
Okay, so there you have it. Great to hear that. And honestly, I can't really. I'm trying to figure out who said that to you, Brian, but I'll just ask you off air. I got another question, but again, we haven't had this format ever in the PFL. It means that once you're in this stage, your next game is against Kaya, and then the games after that. The run of games, it's a brutal schedule for all the teams in the top six. But Again, your next game is against Kaya. How do you keep this motivation up, knowing that even if you win or lose, your next game might even be harder than the last game? I can ask both of you guys. Both of you guys can answer this. Whoever like to go.
Yeah, honestly, we just make sure that every game we treat it as, as a finals game. So we take each training day by day, and we make sure to prep for each game. However, Coach Bing dictates, and us the team, we believe in Coach Bing, and his training has been pretty good. I think the upcoming games are definitely gonna be hard, but we can do it. I'm pretty sure we can do it. We can do it against Diggers. Then I'm sure if we focus, prep well, then the next games we can make something out of it.
Yeah, I also think that taking every game by game really, not looking too far ahead into the future, looking at what's right in front of you first. That's always been what we have in our heads. So obviously this is for me, it's preferred to be playing, every match being another quality team, another great quality team. It's obviously with the quality of our league, obviously we all know that, it fluctuates. So for me, I'm very grateful that we as a team are in this top six, and that, it's a privilege to be able to compete against other quality players and quality teams in this country. So um, yeah, and at the end of the day, for me, and I'm sure for a lot of my teammates and everybody else, I like to treat things like every match. It's just another match. We've played how many of these before, in my entire life. So um, we like to think that there's not any excessive pressure, but still having the right amount of stimulus to get us going definitely helps us stay focused and not get too anxious about what's ahead. Yeah.
Gentlemen, it's been fantastic to have you guys on the program. Brian and Iko, thank you guys for taking the time this evening to share with us your stories and your insights. And it's a great reminder as well, Brian, about the one-on-ones. The 1v1s this weekend are going to be fun to watch. I think you got Shuto Komaki on your side, so that should be fun. That should be a good little battle to look forward to. But gentlemen, could you perhaps take a moment just to invite the fans, say, have a quick message to all the supporters of Águilas Sumac FC. Let's start with Brian.
Yeah, please, everybody come to the matches. Every single match this weekend, we play at the same stadium. It's one after the other, so you might as well save your weekend, save your day for that. It's good entertainment, it's good football. And especially with this championship series, it's only obviously the best quality in the league. So um, keep coming out, keep making noise. I know we have our drums out there. So we need some people to join that group. So if you guys can come out, please do.
Iko.
Yeah, for the Agnes fans, we really appreciate everyone who comes to the games. Honestly, we know it's not easy. It's not easy to come. It's the traffic, the distance, everything is pretty difficult, but we really do appreciate it. We feel the support, and we hope to keep seeing you guys during our games because it means a lot to us, and we definitely love seeing you guys there. So please come.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Enrico. Brian, it's been a real pleasure. Good luck this weekend, and we look forward to speaking with you guys again down the road. Good night.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you guys.
Fantastic. Brian Palpalatok and Enrico Mangawang, our second guests here on the Minsan Football Show. They did spectacular over the weekend, and we have that little feeling now because you've seen them do incredible things against Manila Digger that perhaps they'll have another great game to look forward to over the weekend. Up against the three-time champions, so that should be fun. All right. Okay, Natasha, And Diego, you guys want to chit chat a little bit about the previous results? Obviously, we talked a little bit about Aguilas and Manila Digger already, but Kaya and Stallion kicked things off. It was a 2-2 result between the two legendary teams of the PFL and of top flight Philippine football. Was there any surprises in this one, in the way it turned out?
Yeah, I think
I
I'll go
go ahead, go
first
ahead,
on
go ahead.
this one. Yeah. Um I just like that it was so entertaining. It was back and forth action between Stallion and Kaya. And there were so many moments in the game that are it was like showing some cracks, but then we're seeing the teams improve. Let's say for the side of Kaya, we feel that one of the things that has been missing is the striker problem. You know, when the window happened, they picked up Mirbach. He had the great first outing against Maharlika, and everyone praises all around. But then somewhere along the way, he couldn't get those goals in the remaining fixtures. And then all of a sudden, with this game, you could see he's growing back in confidence, and you see it in that one-on-one brilliant performance that he put on to score the goal for them. And then you see the likes of Martini Ray as well, who's usually a player that comes off the bench. But in their last few games, every time he gets to start or every time he comes on, he's like one of those players that sometimes overlooked. But then now that he's getting his moments in, again, another individual brilliance from the young player as well. And for the side of Stallion, they're always gritty. They're always the team that you never know what to expect from them. And the defensive lapses from Kaya, literally one bad pass, a snapshot from Placito, another missed touch from the in the back line, another goal from Trujillo. That's just how dangerous and gritty they can be. But I think one of the advantages of Stallion over Kaya that just wasn't able to turn into a result or into a goal was the fact that they have a great player off the bench that can create such damage. So Mbene Mukata was really good when he came on in the last few minutes of the game. And you saw him, he was bulldozing over everyone there, taking on the players. The ball was stuck to his feet and he was able to take his shots. Unlucky for him that he couldn't find it wasn't on target or Dayton made the saves, but you could see that besides their first 11, I feel that Stallion have the better players off the bench that could create the change. But nonetheless, it was a great game, 2-2, and it sets you up for how the third round is looking to be.
Yeah, Stallion actually came close to winning that game. Benny Mokata, spectacular in that match. I like how you call the goalkeeper of Kaya just by his last name, just Teto. Teto did all right. Yeah, all right. Diego, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, this is a good game. I missed the opening goal because of how early it was when I was watching this on stream. By the way, well, you obviously the commentators, the fans won't know this. The commentators get a drawing of the team before the game, and then you can see McDaniel was in midfield, and then Placito was up front. And then sometimes you go, okay, this is a little bit of mind games
Yeah.
from the coaching staff. And then after 1 minute, A Placito with the striker's finish. So that was a really welcome plot twist for me. I was enjoying watching that goal back. It was a great finish from Placito. I wonder if he'll play there again in the next few games. But I think that just set the tone for the game as well. It was all out attack from both teams. No one was really afraid to be the aggressor because you have two teams that are level in terms of quality, and that made it really entertaining. The goals were great to watch as well. I really like Mirbach's goal because he took on Baji, who's again that's a really tough defender to beat, and he got his goal. I think both teams will be pleased with their performances. I think obviously they would have wanted to get 3 points, but yeah, this was a great opener to round three. If all the games of round three have this type of quality, then we are in for a really good trade.
Yeah, when you talk about that being the floor, the next match took it even up a notch, right? And we were actually just to your point there, we were just chit-chatting, Clara and I, on the air, saying that, oh, these guys trying to throw us a curveball. and they were like, we're not falling for that. And then Placito actually played up top and scored the goal. Just one thing I wanted to add, Martini Ray, what a performance he put in. The goal, underrated, perhaps, because of how cool, calm, collected he was in front. It still had to beat his man and then lift it over the goalkeeper. I thought the Kaya kind of drifted a little bit when he was no longer on the pitch. And that says a lot about his quality. I think he's a underrated player, and the way he stepped up to the plate over the course of this season has been phenomenal for a player who's come from the UAAP to play for the defending champions, and then slowly but surely make his way into the plans of the coach. I think it speaks a lot of the character of Martini Ray, and I think there are bigger things to come from the young man. So Aguilas versus the formerly undefeated Manila Digger. What a match! Obviously, we've talked a lot about it with our guests today. Anything that you guys want to add to the context, the flavor of the game that we haven't already discussed, Natasha?
Okay. I think I wasn't there earlier when you guys, um, but I think I had to bite my tongue because in the last show, I was giving praise to our referees.
Oh
I saying, "Oh,
no!
they're not that bad." I said, I came to their defense, and it's like, why do you have to? I had to like really like look at me now. I'm like lost for words because I have to take back something that I said. I was really just trying to set them up, but I'd say that the officiating in that match was truly questionable. In the end, the team that deserved to win won, but there were two instances wherein Manila Digger players should have been sent off already. And I don't know why we're so kind with the cards. Someone does
Yeah.
something bad, show the card. It's that simple.
What
But
specifics? Do you have any specifics here,
so
Natasha?
there
That
were two.
you
The first
okay?
one was with Guy. When Guy stamped on, I'm try to fill me in with the blanks here. Jing, you covered that game,
Yeah,
but he
yeah.
stamped on the player inside the box.
I think it's
He was
Richard
already on a
Tete.
yellow. He had a
Yeah.
yellow as well. And then when the yellow was given, he also threw a fit right there. And the fit for me, if you're saying the first one was a yellow card, you're already on thin ice because that was he was very lucky already to get away with a yellow, and then to come on and throw a fit, throw the ball, and say a couple of words. I thought that that should have been the second yellow as well.
Mm, right, right. So I was a bit shocked personally for that there was not extra action taken. What was the second instance for you?
The second instance, again, I can't remember the name, which player that was, but it was the action outside the pitch already when the Manila Digger player put his arm up already outside
Mm,
on the back of the neck. You remember this, I'm sure,
right,
because you
right.
covered the
Yeah.
game. But it was that instance, and the fact that there was no card. There was no card, right? There
I
wasn't
don't
even a
think so.
card for that. And so that was the mind-boggling part, that there was no card, because these are already after the call, after everything. And that it felt like a wrestling match at that point. When
Yeah,
you do something like that, you have to control the game.
yeah.
And so I think that Manila Digger were lucky to get away with the calls being in their favor. But at the end of the day, the team that deserved to win won the match.
All
So I
right.
have to just say kudos um to Aguilas, because they could have just played, the referees, blah 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 blah. They could have played that card, but they didn't. They kept it on the pitch,
Yeah.
and eventually because they kept their cool, they got the win.
Right, right. Yeah, to be fair, the officiating was how should you say, fair for the both of them in terms of you know, uh, players getting away with stuff. I guess, it was not ideal for both parties. Let's put it that way. Diego, your thoughts on the contest? On mute there, buddy.
Hello. All right, there
There
we
you
go.
are.
Hello. So yeah, I mean, Aguilas deserve to win, but I also think at the same time, two things can be true at once. Manila Digger, they really shot themselves in the foot. You had two penalties and you didn't convert either. I was looking at why Modu Juf was their penalty taker the first time around. So it feels weird to have a center back as your penalty taker, right? So I was looking at the previous stats, courtesy, of course, of Chino. Shout out to Chino. Manila Digger before this match only had 2 penalties this entire season, which isn't a lot actually. So it's a small sample size. But Pao Usman guy scored the most recent one, right? And I feel like he should have taken that first penalty. At the second penalty, you can already feel there's a little bit of, Iko Mangawang has the edge already because the first penalty was scored. I think Pao Usman guy should take both penalties. I think he would have scored the first one when it was still the match wasn't at its boiling point yet. I think you need the striker to take your high pressure penalties or your if you give it to Nishioka as well. It needs to be someone with that ball striking instinct. Modu Juf scored a penalty, but it was a pretty long time ago, according to the stats. And the more recent one was scored by Pao Usman guy. And then the second penalty, I'm less sympathetic with them because that was a really good save, to be completely honest, by Mangawang. But at that point, you feel that that first penalty kind of threw them a little bit off because it's weird to sky a penalty, right? You obviously, you're more likely to score a penalty, but if you miss it in that manner, it does something to you mentally. And I really feel it should have been given to Pao Usman guy for the first penalty. But other than that, happy with the amount of chaos that was in this match, for better or for worse. Um, I'm gonna agree also that there were those 2 instances that I felt you could see the comments blowing up as well. There were some real questions being asked, and rightly so, because especially when Pao Usman guy punches the ball away. Like when I watch the Premier League and when a Chelsea player does that, they get a yellow card, and rightly so. And I get frustrated because I'm like, why are you doing that? That's such an obvious yellow. But yeah, I feel like that was an instance as well where he got away with playing with fire there.
Yep. Some crazy scenes in that game. There's a lot of chaos, and definitely those penalties are definitely going to be a talking point in that. The officiating, yes. Yeah, I agree with you guys. However, I do want to talk more about Aguilas, and I hope people talk more about that
Yeah.
performance rather than the officiating, because boy, did they put in quite a performance on the pitch. Really fought their hearts out there. And I think that's if that is a sign of things to come. These next few weeks are going to be so much fun, right? So let's take a look real quick at the league standings. I think there were a few question marks about like ano kaya mangyayari, no, kung um mas maraming points ang Maharlika, pero nakuha nila in the classification round. Will they finish above Aguilas Yumac in the table? Well, perhaps we don't need to find out, right? I mean, well, because Aguilas is doing the business at the moment in the championship round. So here are the standings, and we can see it is now under threat. Right, Manila Digger was up there at the top, but now One to Gig has the opportunity this weekend potentially to snatch the lead. KFC Iloilo and Dynamic Herb Cebu, who are going to be in action this weekend, finally are still somewhat off the pace. Similarly with Aguilas and Stallion, but again, it's not about just the standings. It's about the pride that the teams have and in competing against the best in the league and getting the privilege and honor to do that week in, week out. So we are looking forward to this weekend's matches. So let's take a look real quick at what to expect. But before that, the question of the day is, which game and or player are you most excited to see this weekend? I am going to roll the dice here. And since you are already unmuted, I'm going to say, Natasha, you go first. Which match player are you most looking forward to this weekend?
Whew.
Tough one.
Should
Tough
I do
one.
the professional answer or the personal one?
I'm always for, let's go personal. That
I'll
sounds
go
like
for
more fun.
personal. Because since I'll just be a spectator for that match, I think the game that I'm excited to watch will be the Kaya versus Aguilas game. Um, for reasons that I you see the good form of Aguilas and you kind of want to see if can they make it back to back, or will they continue on to their roller coaster ride of a season? So this is the ultimate test for them. And then for Kaya, you see all of a sudden now your strikers are scoring goals again. And that's what you expect from them. So can they do it back to back? That's also something that you want to see if these two teams, though it's already too late to kind of fight it out for the top one position, but you want to see just the team's eagerness, who really wants to win this, who has that winner's mentality and mindset coming into this championship round. And I guess also for the goalkeeper battle, because those are two goalkeepers that have come from DLSU. So Iko Mangawang and Patrick Deto are both products of DLSU. You know, the school only provides the best of the best national team caliber players.
Wait a
So
minute.
it's good to see
This is
them
a
battle it out as the goalkeeper position as
this is a
well.
LaSalle crowd we've got here. What is going on? Just a little bit of bias, guys. Just a tiny, tiny dose. But just an added context to that match as well. Aguilas were actually struggling in that second round, a slump of form. They were in danger of not making it into the championship round, but they got a win against Kaya. So they've got that extra feather in their cap, and they maybe add to their confidence after last weekend's match. They know they've beaten this Kaya team as well. So, confidence is going to be sky high for Aguilas in this one. Diego, what are you looking forward to this weekend?
Well, I'm looking forward to a lot because all of those games on Saturday are incredible. Um, but for me, I will be keeping a special eye on that last game because the gig are coming off that loss to Manila Digger. That I would say surprising loss. Not surprising that they lost, but surprising in the manner that they lost. 3-0 after halftime. And then they were toothless in the second half. Manila Digger didn't need to add to their advantage. It's going to be a 9 o'clock kickoff, which is the first we've had this PFL season. So shout out to everyone who will be at the stadium for making the late trip to Rizal. But that game is interesting because you want to see how the gig bounce back after a loss, also knowing that they need to bounce back because Manila Digger lost. So there's that pressure on them, but there's also that motivation. And then you add to the fact that in their last game against Stallion, it was a draw. So it's that extra little bit of spice that's there. That game is gonna be really interesting because Stallion can play spoilers to the gig, and actually anyone can really play spoilers. Whoever's playing against the gig and Manila Digger this season, that's interesting because I want to see how motivated the gig are for that game at at 9 p.m. That's incredible. And then after that game, I have the FA Cup final to watch as well. So I'm spoiled for choice, but I am so excited for that third game because I really want to see who from the gig as well is going to stand up for that team after what might have been a really, really demoralizing loss to Manila Digger.
Stallion do have a bit of experience playing spoilers. They beat Cebu back in the day to give Kaya the title, their first one in 2023. I'm particularly looking forward to the Manila Digger game because this is it. This is their first test of character. They've been flying throughout the season, just smashing everybody. Um, it's interesting to know, uh, do they have it within them to bounce back from something like that, or do they start to collapse? Right? There are certain athletes, certain teams that are good as front runners. And then once they start to face a bit of adversity, it starts to fall apart a little bit. They start to question themselves. There's a bit of infighting. They start to blame each other. And you wonder if there's going to be a bit of static now within that team, right? And they're up against a Cebu side who are similar to Aguilas. They are gritty. They want to make it into a battle. And you wonder if things don't go their way in the first 20, 25 minutes or something like this, do they start to get frustrated? Do they start to become anxious? Do they become emotional again? Those are the things that I want to see. And then after the full-time whistle, when everybody was in the locker room, there was a couple of gentlemen from Manila Digger that were still on the pitch. Kenji Nishioka, Ziggy Taninko, I noticed were out there kind of absorbing Aguilas, celebrating their win, and them taking in the emotions and trying to figure out what they could have done differently. And I think Kenji Nishioka did his best to try to influence the game in a calm manner, but his teammates were not on the same wavelength. So I wonder if he's going to be the man on Saturday to kind of like steer the team, as young as he is, to be able to create a bit of stability in this Manila Diggers side because they are so close to their goal. They missed out by a tiny margin in the last season. They don't want it to fall apart now. So this is a big test, huge test for them. And I think Kinji Nishioka is the man to watch in that one. So yeah, those are the three
I'll add,
games
yeah,
that
I'll add as well that when you talk about Cebu and Manila Digger, there's so much recent history with them as well. Knowing that the PFL final series, they were the teams in it last season. And then coming into this game, you have two very different teams both wanting revenge, but Cebu, they've had that longer spell to be able to recoup, reset, and make the changes necessary from their last loss, which was against Manila Digger. And Manila Digger, they've just been going hard at it every single game, and they've been playing every weekend, every weekday, making up for the games coming into this. So the wear and tears are somewhat showing, and now that we're towards, again, as you mentioned, it's already that end towards the end of the season. The breaks, the cracks are all coming out, and it's the part of the season wherein it's who can still hold on to the mindset, the mentality, and who can hold on until the very end, because this is really the time where the teams are breaking and cracking. But it's a different sense of championship mentality that will come into play. So that's also what makes this game extra interesting, or all the games actually extra interesting, is that to maintain the mindset over a long extended period, it's really exhausting. So only the best of the best really will shine towards this latter part.
beautifully said. And that's what I love about a league, right? It's a marathon, not a sprint. And when you get into that third or that fourth stage of the run where you're getting close to the end, is when your body hurts, everything. You can't breathe, but it's just about powering through. And that's where these teams are at the moment. So it's the last stretch, and teams got to dig deep, and we're gonna see, what kind of character these teams have, particularly this weekend. It starts off at 3:30 at the Rizal Memorial Stadium. Dynamic Herb Cebu taking on Manila Digger. Ooh, what a curtain raiser! And then after that, we've got Kaya FC Iloilo taking on Aguilas Yumac FC at 6:15, and then we've got the closer with One Taguig FC taking on Stallion Laguna at 9 p.m. A triple dose of incredible football action this Saturday in the Philippines Football League. It's a good time to be a Philippine football fan at the moment. So we're looking forward to that. And we hope you will join us on the Philippines Football League YouTube and on our social media pages. We'd love to have you guys join us, not just in watching the game, but in the conversation. Yeah, that's about it from us, guys. We've made good time. We've had a nice interview. We've talked about the previous matches. We've talked about what's on the horizon. Anything else you guys want to bring up before we say goodbye to all the good folks watching us this evening?
Oh, guess again, we just want to invite everyone to come on out to watch. Like, please come on out, come to Rizal, help us build this league, the stadium, the environment, and that really plays a factor in how the players play. It's so much more fun to play in a stadium wherein the fans are out there. You make that extra run, you make that extra tackle. The mindset really shifts to giving not just your 100%, but your 150% when the fans are there.
Yes. Diego?
Yeah, same sentiments. It's the last month of the PFL. If you're free on a weekend, I know it's hard, the heat or baka brownout sa'yo, pero if you have the ability to make your way to Rizal Memorial Stadium, again, you can buy one ticket and watch the 3 games on Saturday with that one ticket. Sulit, because all games are incredible. So do make your way to Rizal Memorial Stadium. It's so accessible. It's a 5-minute walk from the train station. You can take a jeep there. These games and these players especially deserve a big audience. They deserve a big audience because of the quality, especially because you're gonna see it on. You saw it last week, and you're gonna see it again on Saturday. This is a really high caliber of fixtures, and yeah, I hope they get the audience that they deserve. If you can't watch it live, obviously, do tune into the live stream. The live stream has been so consistent this season. So shout out to everyone who's made that possible. No games have been missed. Not a single kick has been missed. So shout out to them. One more month. It's incredible that we've reached this point. Last push for the PFL, and I'm so happy we've reached this point, and I'm so happy the pinnacle is yet to come. So yeah, that's why I'm so excited for this weekend.
There's no need to add to that. You guys have encapsulated the excitement for this weekend, and I hope everybody does come out and goes out there to support the league at the Rizal Memorial Football Stadium. If you're up early tomorrow morning, guys, baka interesado kayo sa balitang sports. Sa mga storya ng mga atletang Pilipino, may iba akong trabaho na PTV Sports. I do 8 to 9 in the morning, every morning on Mondays to Fridays. New little gig, and then on Saturday I'll see you guys again at the Rizal Memorial Stadium to call a couple games. I'm really looking forward to it. But other than that, please do follow Upstream Sports TV on YouTube. And also at We Are PFL on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. We're also on TikTok. That is _ We Are PFL _. And with that, that is all for my partners today, Diego Cordero and Natasha Alquiros Deto. My name is Jing Hamlang. Thank you so much for watching the show this evening, and we appreciate your support all throughout the season. We look forward to seeing you guys on Saturday for this weekend's Philippines Football League matches. That is it. Thank you and good night. God bless, guys.